broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah, Jumpman.
It's our new move.
Yeah,
Jumpman, Jumpman.
it's the Jumpman.
This is, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, this is the Jumpman.
Yeah, with the lights.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the chicken dance, but with shoulders.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what? Ooh. Hey, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're here with SNL After Show for AfterBuzz TV. Jonah Hill with the musical guest Future. Pretty interesting stuff, huh?
Yeah.
I'm your host, Kelly McInerney. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo. Also, make sure to like us and follow us on YouTube and iTunes, all that jazz. And here I am with my awesome co-host.
Yeah. I'm Amy Maestri. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Amy Maestri.
Yeah. I just love the... Ooh. Oh, I clearly don't know the song that well.
Ooh. Everyone just tries to jump in on that Drake part.
Ooh. No.
Every time.
Did my best. Anyways, it was a pretty interesting, pretty fun episode, I'd say.
Yeah.
Right? Little
Yeah.
Fun to just. That's one word I'd describe it. What did you think about the whole? If you could describe it in one word.
I'd agree with fun. It was. I feel like I actually wrote that word quite a bit. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it was the best episode. I don't think it was a bad episode. I think there was a lot that was just. It was amusing.
Yeah.
I would say amusing would be my one word.
I get. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel it.
There you go.
Started off with the cold open, CNN America's Choice. You know, their little political sketch, cold open, pretty good. I actually didn't realize the whole thing about when Trump was talking about how big his dick was. I didn't realize that was a real thing. I was like, that's weird to write in. Oh, it's actually because it actually happened.
That was a real thing. Yeah.
God. What did you think of the cold open?
I think to that point, this was a great cold open because there's so much in this political season that, God, like, they really don't have to do a lot of work because there is so much just craziness happening. And I think this was a great example of a sketch where they were able to take enough of reality, but also add their own narrative to it and their own commentary and kind of make it something different and something funny and adding in little inserts like that. Trump just being like, well, I have a big dick out of nowhere because that's kind of a real thing.
It's funny because instead of having one Sarah Palin, now they have like 4 of them. You know, it's like jackpot. It's
just everywhere. And the couple lines that I wrote down were actually when he was describing Chris Christie, when Trump was describing Chris Christie, he called him a sad, desperate little potato. And because I know that was obviously in the news a lot this week of Chris Christie looking like a hostage behind Donald Trump as he was speaking. And I think one of my favorite lines from this whole thing, though, was when he was trying to say, because it's that strong narrative of like, everyone loves me, the press loves me, these people love me. And Trump goes, they said they haven't seen anything like this since Germany in the 1930s.
Yeah. That was good. I also liked Hillary's bit, like jokers to the left of me, clowns to the right, stuck in the middle with me. How she's like, you guys thought you wouldn't have to vote for me, now you're gonna. Also, Jason Sudeikis playing Mitt Romney.
Yeah. Great to see him back.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I thought it was nice. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
The monologue, very different from the usual one. Yeah. I feel like they're like, let's just wing it, you know? Let's just see what happens. What do you want to do? What do you want to do, Jonah? You want to rap? Got it.
Exactly.
You know? I liked it, though, because, like, I would love to rap with, like, I guess the Jumpman song. Why not? I'd love to play Drake. That'd be awesome, you know? And it's funny that I liked, every time I think I don't like Jonah Hill, I feel like then he does SNL and he makes fun of himself, and I'm like, all right. I do like
You're
you.
okay
you
with
know?
me again.
Making fun of his little feud with Kyle Mooney in the beginning.
That was great.
So good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that the monologue had a game to it.
Yeah.
In that, yeah, of just like him being like, I get it, I'm not really like working on a ton right now. So I enjoy that there's actually a game to the monologue. But yeah, I think other than that, I think legit Jonah Hill was just like, I'd really love to rap with Future. So like, Lorne Michaels, if you can make that happen, let's do that.
Yeah. I feel like he's just like his character in SoCal. What is it? Inside SoCal.
Oh, yeah.
But not.
Yeah.
But with lots of money.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call. Good call.
But it was fun. It was.
Yeah.
I wrote silly, light, a little lazy, but
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Like, it kind of, and it's weird too, because typically they'll kind of go one way or the other. Like, they'll go with the questions in the monologue, and they started with that, but it was literally just for that game of like, you're not really doing anything right now, Jonah Hill. And then they moved into like doing a musical number, which is funny that like, it was kind of a weird mix of a couple different styles of monologue that they try out there all into one. But
I feel like that's a pattern lately with the monologues. I feel like they kind of can't make up their mind with some stuff. Like the Ronda Rousey one was a little bit of everything too.
Yeah. I think the only time that works is when it's Elizabeth Banks and she is legitimately doing everything because she's amazing.
Yeah. And directing, it's good. The next sketch was a digital short, probably the most talked about, one of the most talked about ones, I'd say.
Yeah.
Went viral pretty fast. The Racists for Trump. So clever, though. Like, just, you knew something was coming, right?
Yeah.
You knew something, but then you didn't know what, and how it lightly just, like, the arm. So great. What did you think of it?
I loved that. Anything where it's kind of like you're waiting for the reveal and you're just like, because it gets you on the edge of your seat. You're like, God, I know something's coming and I'm not totally sure what yet. And then, that subtle, like just as soon as the arm comes up and you see the swastika, and then like the way that they escalate it was good too. Because, I mean, you think like, where do you go from swastika? But then they keep going. And then when they end on Burning Cross, you're like, oh yeah, shit, there's nowhere to go from Burning Cross.
It's crazy. It's kind of crazy too how that's kind of what's going on. He is kind of a racist, you know? Like, they wouldn't make fun of it if it was, I don't know. It's pretty terrifying how close he is to ruling our country, you know?
Yeah, I think this was on point for many levels. I think it was written well, and the way that it was executed was really great. But yeah, it is one of those things that you laugh, and then at the end you go, oh no. Yeah. Oh, that's real. That's something happening right now. Yeah. But I really enjoyed this. Was probably one of my favorites of the night, actually.
Yeah. I think it might have been mine too. Well, it's not my favorite thing, but one up there. It was lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
This episode.
Yes.
Speaking of good stuff, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Sometimes you just need a funny news show where they make fun of a part of the world that has funny accents, right?
That's true.
It was pretty good. What did you think?
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it with that. It's just like, it's not some like mind-blowing, like crazy idea for a sketch. It's pretty simple, pretty basic, but it was funny the way that they did it, and just like the fact of like middle America just kind of coming up with personal stories instead of the news, you know, like when they cut to 80 and they're just like, oh yeah, I heard so-and-so said this, and going off, and she's just like, all right, back to you guys. Like, she wasn't even doing anything. So I think it was fun. I think it kind of like narrowed in on that like Midwestern kind of mentality, and I think it was funny.
Yeah. SNL, I feel like, does a lot of news sketches, you know, with the wife with the gay husband and stuff. I feel like this is one that works more because, I don't know, I feel like the gay husband, I never really liked that one that much. Weird accents always win me over, is what I'm trying to say, you know? And it's not like they're really making fun of Wisconsin, because I know a lot of my friends from Wisconsin actually, like, shared this video, and you're like, oh, I'm homesick, you know?
Perfect.
So I think it worked pretty well. And I also like the puns, you know, who's gonna get fondue lucky with the lottery. That's the only thing I wrote down.
Which actually, yeah, the lotto stuff was great with Taron coming in as like the super old guy who does the lotto numbers and like them translating because he doesn't read any of the numbers correctly, and then one comes up and he's just like, oh,
Yeah.
69. And they're just like, he does this every week. Don't listen. He knows it's not 69.
Yeah. The whole bit is kind of how they're too nice, you know, like he's still hired because they don't want to get rid of him, even though he's not doing his job at all right. It was good.
Which kind of reminded me of Herb, the Bill Hader character that he did a few years back with the old guy who just like would like hit people with the microphone when he'd go in, and it was again like he's just old and he's been here forever, so we'll keep him. But
The next one was another short, The Champ. Another pretty funny, like obscure kind of like weird twist. Like I don't know. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I think it took a really long time to get where it was going.
I agree, yeah.
But once it got there, I did think it was funny, and just like I think Vanessa's reactions really cracked me up as the mom, as she's watching her son watch the news as he finds out that he's just the loser that everyone was like building up in that to win. But yeah, the twist, like the dark twist of like the murderers next door. I was like,
It's
okay, I think
that he murdered. Like so random.
Yeah, I think that kind of saved it. But yeah, I don't know. What was your take on it?
I agree. It took a while to get to it, and I feel like some parts they kind of just beat it to death. Like, I get it, the poop thing. I get he's not good at controlling his bowel movements. Like, but that was the point. Even him was like, he was like, why are they still showing the janitor? Why are they giving him so much airtime?
Yeah, that was a good line.
I think it just was like trying to make you laugh uncomfortably a little bit, but also in the end you're like, it's stupid, you know?
Yeah.
I loved how Eric McCormick is a murderer. Just I do like random stuff like this, you know, how it's just like way out there. Like, who thinks of like Eric McCormick, who's gonna be the murderer? So
who else? Obviously, yeah. Agreed.
So it's pretty fun. Pretty fun sketch.
Fun.
Yeah. Student auction one. I don't know. I think this was maybe one of my least favorites because the joke kind of, it was just didn't really heighten that much.
Yeah.
It only heightened, I guess, like once with the addition of the other guy, you know?
Yeah.
What did you think about it?
Yeah, I think it just didn't have enough legs to stand on for a full sketch. Mm-hmm. Because when they did, and that's kind of what I was waiting on. I was like, okay, so here's the game. Like, I was kind of waiting for, like, another random, like, whatever it was, like, that was trying to get money out of them for, like, whatever, like, terrorist organization or something, like, crazy. But, like, it was just kind of the same thing. And I was like, okay, well, Taron coming in and doing the same thing and trying to outbid him, I was like, okay. But, yeah, it didn't really go anywhere from that. I think you're right. Like, it didn't really have anywhere to escalate to there.
It's a bummer, too, because you could tell, like, Jonah Hill really committed to the character hard. And he really wanted to sell. But it was also like, I don't get it. Why are they so against it? Okay, you have SATs. Re-sign up another day, you know? Yeah. It's not like he's a bad guy. Or is he a bad guy? Like, what's the deal with him? What's the deal?
We just want to know more about this king.
Yeah.
What is his deal? But yeah, I agree. Jonah Hill was great in it. Yeah. I mean, he was cracking me up as the character, but I think the sketch itself just...
The writing was just like...
Yeah, it needed to go somewhere else. I think there weren't really clear beats in it either.
Yeah.
It was just kind of going, and then you started to feel a beat at the end, but then it didn't go anywhere from there. So I think it kind of needed to establish it earlier if it was going to be that game of like, okay, there's going to be like weird like Middle Eastern like kings bidding on these high school students. Yeah. It needed to become that. I just don't know that there is a clear enough like premise to the sketch.
Yeah, maybe like if a celebrity or somebody, I don't know, or the actual king came in.
Right.
Who knows? Not that you're asking our opinions, SNL writers, but you know.
If you were,
here it is. Next up, Future. Let's just talk about both parts. First one was with The Weeknd, but what I loved more than The Weeknd in that was his dope lion coat.
Right?
God, it looks so comfortable.
Really, I just want to sleep in it.
Yeah, not his music or anything, just the lion coat. Shows how much I care. I'm sorry. But what did you think of Future?
I liked him. I wasn't totally familiar with him, but then I realized that Jumpman was him, and I was like, oh, I love that song. That was actually like me and my friend's jam the other weekend, and I really like that song. So I actually kind of wish he had done that song more than just in the monologue. And I also, one of my friends told me that I'm not sure if this is true or not, but he partially owns like the Parlor in West Hollywood.
Really?
I don't know if that's true or not.
Wow.
But if it is, I'm like, I know everything about the Parlor because like I go there all the time, so I therefore know everything about the Future.
Yeah.
I'm an expert on him now.
One of the guys from Reno 911 came there. You know Jonesy?
Oh yeah.
We did a duet of Wild Wild West, and he was Cisco. Arguably the top 2 nights of my life in Los Angeles. You know?
Yeah.
Just living the dream. That's my one dream. That's my one moment of the Parlor.
Perfect. Well, yeah, I don't know if he actually does or not, but I liked the first performance. It's honestly, I've always loved The Weeknd. I love his voice. I think he has one of the best voices right now, but he always underwhelms me as a performer. I think he moved more in this performance than I've ever seen him move before. So I enjoyed it. I think both of them were good. It's again, I think like I would have loved to see Jumpman if Drake came instead of The Weeknd to do that. That would have been a lot of fun. But I think it was good. Like you had a lion coat, and
I just want that so bad. You know, my spirit animal's a lion. You know, if I was an animal, it'd be a lion.
Well, there you go.
I'd be totally a Simba.
Nice. Are you a fan of Future, or is this like a?
I really have no opinion of. I liked him in this episode, I have to say. You know, I like seeing rappers that just are down with whatever, you know? And I do like the Jumpman song. But I'm not hardcore about him. I like his name. And I like his coat.
Yeah. I read I'm blanking on what his real name is, but I remember reading that it's Greek for king. It's like, no, I'm not going to say it because I'm going to butcher it. Okay. But yeah, it's his real name is like Greek for king. And I was like, oh, you should just do that, man. Yeah. But Future is really cool too.
Mm-hmm. Maybe not a lot of people couldn't pronounce it. You know?
he was like, there it is. There it is.
Yeah. Okay. And then update. We can update next. I enjoyed this update a lot. I liked a lot of the jokes that they had. I liked a few of my favorites were just the beginning about the OJ.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, free knife. And he was watching FX. Oh, that OJ. God. Pornhub about how Michael travels a lot.
Yes.
And those child-sized portions from Subway. Such a good show.
Yeah, that was great. And I loved even the follow-up from Colin just being like, oh, yeah, I'm the bad guy. When the audience was like, ugh.
Yeah. So good. Lots of good little guests. The girl you wish you didn't start a conversation with at a party. I don't know. I never really know how I feel about her, which I guess is how people are supposed to feel when they talk to people like that at parties, you know? Just like, you're just weird. What do you think about her?
She's actually always been, I love that character because it is like you don't know how to feel about her, but it is like you're like, God, I've talked to someone like that.
Yeah.
And I think they do a good job of, like, it's sometimes easy jokes that they go to because, like, a word play or whatever it is that they can use for her. But I think they kind of do a good job of going past that. One of my all-time favorites from her was back when Seth was doing Update, and she just said, learn a book, Seth. Like, those little things. But in this one, some of the ones that I wrote down were the Scoos button. Leo is right.
I wrote that too.
Bears.
I wrote that one too.
Like, yeah, when you're just like, what is she talking about? You haven't even asked me if I'm transgendered. Like those kind of hot button topics that she just knows nothing about and shouldn't be talking about. So I just always really enjoy her. This wasn't one of my favorites that she's done, but I really enjoyed it. And I've always wanted to see an update special of the girl at the party that you wish you hadn't started talking to Drunk Uncle.
Oh, that'd be good.
I think would be the best segment ever. Yeah. So that's something that I'm hoping for someday. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah. News from the future. Super funny, super quick. Loved it. Love puns.
Yes.
This is when I was like, oh, future's cool. You know? Just being like, hey, we want to do this, just not be into it. You know? What did you think?
Yeah, I liked it, and I thought it was funny that The Weeknd was there because they did that with The Weeknd too, when they were like, weekend up, or I can't remember how they phrased it, but yeah, like weekend update from The Weeknd or whatever it was, and yeah, he was just like, what are you guys doing in here? So I thought it was funny that they kind of pulled that back, but yeah, I enjoyed that. I thought it was funny.
And then the celebration of 110th birthday party of Flossie Dickey with just Vanessa playing herself, which I enjoyed because she never really does. She's never really a correspondent for Weekend Update. No. So I kind of liked that. I liked her threat of her using the N-word. I just love how they didn't have to put much makeup on Kate McKinnon, and she just had her facial expressions.
So good.
They work really well together.
Yeah, I think that was my main takeaway from it, is that the two of them, I could watch Vanessa be Vanessa talking to Kate as this 110-year-old woman all day.
Yeah.
Just the reactions between the two of them, and you could see a couple times, like, they almost lost it.
Like when she was pushing the microphone into her. It was so good.
That tickled me.
Yeah. But my favorite thing of the night, arguably of all of SNL this season, maybe. I gotta think about that one.
Ooh.
Jay Pharoah's impressions. I don't know why. I just love when he does impressions because he's so good. Doesn't even have to have like much of a joke to him, because this one didn't. It was just like a black comedians meeting.
Yeah.
And why were they meeting again? I forget.
I can't remember but I mean, we found out that it wasn't real anyways, that Jay just made it up.
And they just kept getting better and better. Like, I loved how he didn't have to introduce Chris Rock, because it was just like, that's Chris Rock's. He did Cat Williams, Kevin Hart, Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle, Tracy Morgan, Hannibal Buress, and Bernie Mac, and that's when he's like, oh, I made it all up because he's dead. So good. God, I wish I could do one good impression, let alone like 9 in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was one of the most impressive things I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
On Weekend Update or anything, because it was, and I mean, every single one. I remember closing my eyes, just listening, and you're just like, holy crap, like, you really cannot tell the difference. I think he's up there with some of the best impressions they've ever had on SNL.
He's so underrated too, and not used as much. And he could be the Daryl, like, he's the impressionist of this season.
Yeah.
You know, or of the past few seasons, I think.
Yeah, kind of this like generation of SNL. I feel like he's that guy. I mean, he can just do anyone.
He's so good.
It's incredible.
And it ended on there for Weekend Update. Ended with the cherry on top of the awesomeness. Loved it so much.
Nice.
Thanks.
So you didn't really like that one, huh?
No.
I was like, okay.
You know. Murder mystery. Another poop joke. I think this one might have worked more, though. Maybe because I just loved Kate's chef impression, of her voice. Sweet on the top, savory in the ass. But I don't know. I like. After this, I was like, man, I like that Jonah Hill's okay with dumping poop jokes on him. How he just looks like, I guess he just looks like a guy that shits a lot.
Yeah, he's real okay with it.
Yeah. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I actually wrote, Kate makes everything better. Because it was. I don't think it was the strongest thing, but I mean, I guess like that, it's not like my cup of tea. That joke of just like, we get it, he pooped. It's not really my thing, but at the same time, just looking at it objectively, it was written well. Like, you knew what the game was. It was established clearly. It escalated through like the stories that everyone was telling. So I mean, I think it was a well-written sketch. It wasn't my favorite, but yeah, I think Kate's accent that she did, and also 80 was cracking me up in this for some reason. That like overly prim and proper kind of accent got me. I don't know what Kenan was doing with his voice, but I never really know there.
Yeah, I never really into him.
But yeah, I think it was a well-written sketch, and again, Jonah Hill executed it very well.
Yeah, he was killing it this episode. You know, just committing hard. Also the geese. I just want to mention that.
Also the geese.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Inside SoCal. I never really know how I feel about the Kyle Mooney sketches, digital shorts, because just like Jonah Hill in the monologue, I always wish it was Andy Samberg. Because The Lonely Island is one of my favorite things. But this was fine. It was kind of, I just didn't like it because as a girl, I'm like kind of offended a little. And I know they're dumb about, you know, breast reduction. What did you think about it?
I think when they do this, it's very on point to like Southern California dudes.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny in that respect of just like, God, yeah, like that is how like a lot of guys are around here. Like I feel like they're all like lost boys that still like sound like they're 15 years old, but they're like in their 20s and 30s. Yeah. So I enjoyed that. I didn't think that this wasn't great for me. I think some of the strongest stuff in it was actually when they did the world news and they were just explaining Indian food to people. That they decided they needed an entire segment just to explain Indian food. Made me laugh, but and also the fact that Taron left his baby there.
Yeah, I liked that. I liked how he spoke to the baby, like, you know, blah blah blah. Yeah, we're going to his house.
Yeah.
So, you know, he knows him. Let's go. Like as if he's an adult.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah. I think it's a fun idea, and it's not something that's ever been my favorite, but I think because it is kind of like funny commentary on how a lot of guys are out here. Mm-hmm. I think that kind of helps it for me.
Yeah. I think it's cool too to have that because there's so many inside jokes about New York. Like they had the Elmo law for New York in the Weekend Update. There's so many inside jokes there, so I think it's fun. It's good for them to have, hey, we do this West Coast stuff too, you know? So you guys can get some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I still don't get it. And I live here.
We're not in on everything.
No, yeah. Lastly, the Silver Star Catering Company. Weird kind of sketch to end on, I guess.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill just really committing hard, saying raped and gangbanged the food when everybody's like, no, we're not eating this food. You know? Yeah. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I think it almost would have been stronger, I think, if they kind of had started with that earlier, because I think that seemed to get the best audience reaction, too, of when he started to, like, use, like, really sexually aggressive terms for things and saying, like, yeah, the bowl of ranch was gangbanged and, like, going in for that. I almost wonder if that would have made for a stronger, like, that he's this weird dude that is just, like, making really strong sexual innuendos in terms, like, for what people are doing to the food, because it did kind of waver back and forth between that and him just like saying munching a lot or like scar, you know, like again, his presentation I think made it, but overall it wasn't the strongest written sketch. I feel like. Yeah.
Also, I wasn't sure if it was good food or not. Like we didn't find out until the end that it was not good because they were just like, what?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whatever.
And also, I mean, that was a lot of food.
Yeah. I wanted some.
Food.
I was hungry after. But overall, pretty decent episode. Like, lots of memorable things. Never gonna forget Jay Pharoah's impression medley, you know?
Yeah.
Dope. So good.
Yeah. I think that and really Update, I think overall was a lot of fun for me this week. And it seemed long, too. Did you feel like it was...
A little bit, but like I don't know. I didn't feel like it seemed long because it was one of my favorite things.
Yeah,
you know?
At least like, it was good. Yeah,
keep it coming. And I love when they like play with each other. Like I love the Michael Travels a lot joke because I love when they make fun of each other. You know, all that stuff. I think they work well together. I said this since the beginning, and people were like, "No." I'm like, "No, they work well together." But overall, I think it was great. Who do you think, if you had to choose an MVP?
I think I might have to go with Kate, just because again there were a lot of sketches that I feel like weren't the greatest sketches, but again, like I wrote, like Kate makes everything better. Yeah. She just finds a way within whatever character she's doing or whatever she's doing to really just escalate everything so much within herself. So I would say it's a toss-up between her and Vanessa for me, because again, she always finds a way to contribute. But what about you?
While I did love Jay's impression medley, he was only in that one thing, kind of, you know? Yeah. I actually think Jonah Hill. I like, you know, he committed hard, sure, some of the writing wasn't up to par, but you know, you kind of just wanted to laugh at some of the stuff anyways because he was just really getting into it.
Yeah.
And for somebody that really didn't like Jonah Hill, I'm not a huge fan. He wins me over whenever he hosts SNL. So
yeah,
good for you, Jonah.
That's good. You get another fan out of it. I know Kyle Mooney's not a fan of his, so.
Yeah. Next week, though, pretty exciting. I'm kind of excited about Ariana Grande, host and musical guest.
Yeah.
Should be good. I feel like people give her a diva rep, but, you know, maybe she's not.
Yeah. I think it'll be fun. I think she's really talented. I feel, she doesn't always get, I think, the credit that she deserves because she is, like, I think she's really talented in everything that I've seen her. And, I mean, her voice is just... incredible. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited for that.
Awesome. Well, before we go, where can they find you on the internet, Amy?
On the internets, you can find me at Amy Maestri.
Yeah, and I'm Kelly McInerney. You could find me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo. And we'll see you next week, guys.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.